Hello, good afternoon and welcome to PM eVidya channel, and I'm with you Dharmender Singh. Today something exciting we are going to do, but I'm very glad to inform you that under this channel PM eVidya channel we are going to tell you something more, something exciting, something acknowledgeable, and due to this, if you will seek this and seriously, then you will enhance your self-esteem. Let me brief you something about this eVidya channel, then I will definitely introduce to our expert. For that you need to wait for a little while. PM eVidya channel is an initiative for the children of India, and this is specifically to help them continue without going to school. Actually, this is the best thing if you are not going to school and you are learning a lot of things, and to make them progress towards achievements of learning outcomes. There you are. This is PM eVidya channel, and I believe you all will be happy while running with this channel. It's time to tell you today's subject, what we are going to discuss today, that is English, channel 3, class 3, and subject is English. Obviously, I've told you. And the chapter, yes, this is the mystery, what I'm going to tell you. Actually, I will not tell you. Our expert will let you know about this. So, I'm going to connect you directly to her. Please welcome Professor Varda Nikalje, Department of Elementary Education, NCERT. I welcome you.
Thank you very much, and a good day to all of you, all the listeners out there. We are going to talk about class 3, as Mr. Dharmender has already told you. We are going to talk about chapter 1, which is a poem, Good Morning, and a lesson, The Magic Garden. But we are not here today to explain the poem or the lesson, but we are going to talk about it. It's like, it's like a surprise, you know that something is going to happen, and that something is what's going to happen in the forthcoming weeks. In the weeks that follow, you will be told and interacted with and explained about each in each class. There are 12 channels, I am told, for different classes. There will be channel 1 for class 1 and so on. So, to cover all the classes and all the subjects for all you school children out there. We will be talking about, as I said, the textbook and the chapter, but there are quite a few doubts that some teachers and students have expressed to NCERT and to the faculty, either through email or by phone, or whenever they meet on face-to-face interactions. They have various questions like this poem, for instance, Good Morning. So, good morning, and the poem is only around 8 or 10 lines. So, they ask, isn't it more suitable for a class 1 textbook? Why is it in class 3? And one answer is, of course, that here the child will be able to read himself or herself about the poem. In class 1, they barely know a few words, and then they will depend more on the teacher. Here the poem is simple enough, and they'll be able to read the poem on their own, which means a sense of achievement that they have. The other, that is the lesson, The Magic Garden, that is also centered around the theme, the world around us. The first one, the poem, is centered around the theme, nature. So, nature and the world around us, there is a slight difference. The world around us may not comprise only of natural objects. Right. It may have an urban landscape, it may have buildings, school itself is a building, and so on. So, the natural and the artificial both mingle in the theme, the world around us. So, these are some of the things that we shall be discussing in this session.
Great. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, any query, then you can get back to us on our toll-free number. What is that? That is 1800-111-265. There is another one, 1800-112-199. Top of that, you can send your questions through mail as well on the ciet.kishoremanch@gmail.com. For the live interaction program, you can catch us live where on you can catch us on NCERT YouTube official channel. You can find us easily over there. All right. So we have got the glimpse now that we are going to listen a poem. We are going to talk about a lesson, that is The Magic Garden. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So shall we start now?
Well, actually, as I said, there are some myths also that
yes,
parents and teachers they do have. For instance, they wonder if sometimes the pronunciation, they are worried about the pronunciation. I'd like to say that when you read a poem, you have to enjoy the poem. It doesn't matter if your pronunciation is not perfect at this stage. Also, in the NCERT website, if you go to the audio section, you will see that the poems of these textbooks, Marigold series, is already in place. Many poems are recited. Quite a few of them have been sung by children of your age. So you can listen to these poems in the audio section and sing along. You can repeat. Parents can help to download these and sing along with the children. Children at home can also sing along with their older brothers and sisters and enjoy the poem. And as they do so, they will pick up the pronunciation.
Correct.
They will pick up the stress. They will pick up, how to pause when there is a comma and so on. So there are many things that can be done through the audio medium as well. So even if you don't have a smartphone, you don't have internet connection, you can still do it using the simple mobile. One of the other myths also that it touches upon multilingualism. The myth is that English is a foreign language and it's difficult to learn. It's there was a famous author, R.K. Narayan, and he said that English is like a daughter-in-law who has come and joined the family.
Right.
So she may have been born in some other place, in some other country, but then she is now a part of the family, and so she need not be considered foreign anymore. English has been so much around in India for such a long time that there is more exposure to English than to our own languages. The National Education Policy does stress that multilingualism, that is knowing more than one language, should be focused on, and through English textbooks, learning of English textbooks. It doesn't mean that we are in any way ignoring the mother tongue or the regional language.
Right, correct.
So is there a question or shall I continue?
Yeah, question is, yes, there is a live question I've got. First of all, the student is asking, ma'am, please tell us how to go about creating writing. I think it's question about the creative writing, how they can start as per the standard 3.
Is it for standard 3,
I
creative
think,
writing?
I don't know, but actually the question is arise because we are discussing for the chapter 3 or class 3, so I think that we need to answer this as per the level of class 3.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, why not? I don't have the name of the student, but what actually she or he would like to ask, how to do creative writing, how we can understand how to write the creative writing.
How to do creative writing, if someone has sent this question, it means that I imagine that to write this question, this child must be older, must be of class 6 or class 7 or class 10 perhaps. So how to do creative writing in class 3, that I can answer, more focused on creativity. For example, there is a lesson and a poem, as we have seen. Good Morning is a poem. So if we ask children, now we have to develop creativity in children. We have to bring out their inherent creativity. So we can ask the questions, some children like to sleep late. Especially in lockdown, many parents have complained that their children go on sleeping. Once, twice, it's all right, but then, every time, then it becomes difficult when they have to go back to school.
Correct.
It will become difficult. So if you ask the child, do you like to sleep late? Do you like to wake up early? And if the child says sleeping late, then say also, if you wake up early, well, there are plenty of things that you can see. If you don't, there are plenty of things that you miss out on. Now again, what are the things that the child will see when he or she gets up in the morning? Only awake. I'm not saying out of bed. Only awake. They'll hear maybe birds chirping. They'll hear the radio in the neighbor's house, perhaps. They'll see the newspaper boy coming. They'll see so many things, and they can be asked to write a paragraph or even to just narrate to their grandparents on the phone that this is what I saw. One child, for instance, told me, I love to get up early in the morning because I want to see how the newspaper boy who comes on a cycle rolls the newspaper very tightly, puts a rubber band around it and throws it to the 6th floor, 7th floor. and his aim never falters. He always 7th floor, 6th floor, 5th floor, like this. And you know, the child admires this so much that he gets up in the morning only to see this sight.
Right.
So there are certain things which are really, really wonderful. We take it for granted. The newspaper boy has come, the paper has fallen on the balcony, and we read it. But to a child, it is magical. And the child will aspire to throw maybe and improve his skills. And there are so many things. So this is just one example of creativity of a young child, which can be nurtured and can be encouraged.
There you are. So you must have got the answer. Then to do creative writing, you need to at least, you know, think something about, you need to enhance your imagination power, and you don't need to, you know, avoid those kind of things which is going around in your nearby you, and you need to learn something from them. Am I right? If
Yes.
I'm not wrong. Shall we start now?
Why not?
All right. So there is no question so far, and I believe that we should go to the poem Good Morning, and then after the lesson, if we got the time.
Okay. So again, I'd like to show one thing. This is the poem, chapter 1, if you wish to call it chapter 1. This is unit 1, and this is the poem. So as you can see, it's just around 10 lines. It says, good morning sky, good morning sun, good morning little winds that run. These are simple enough words which a child of class 2 would know, and a class 3 child is able to read. I want you to see these words, creeping grass and brownie bees. So again, to come back to the question of creativity, if you think of the word brownie, you know, brown bees, brown the color of the bees, but the child is saying brownie bees. The child feels a sense of belongingness, a sense of friendship with the bees. You know, it's like if a child is called Mansi, then you call the child in the family, you call Manu or something like that. You know, you shorten the name.
Yes.
And then instead of saying Chacha Ji, then you say Chachu or something like that. So, I mean, in all languages. So here the child is not saying brown bees, but saying brownie bees, which means, you know, kind of friendliness towards the bees. So in this, there is another thing I want to show here at this particular point. Say good morning in your own language to your friends or your teacher. Say good morning in your own language. We say, you know, Suprabhat. In my mother tongue, Kannada, we say Shubhodaya. You know. So, how is that important? When you put this kind of a question in an English textbook, published by a national body, it means you are actually encouraging multilingualism.
Correct.
You are not saying only English in the English class. So every parent, every teacher has to endorse multilingualism. It's not that you should know 15 or 16 languages. It's not that you should know the mother tongue of each and every child in your class. It's only your attitude of respect. I'm not saying tolerance. We are not here to tolerate languages. We are here to respect languages.
Correct.
And so one way of respecting languages is by putting such questions in an English textbook.
Correct.
And if the child will feel happy to say, you know, in my language we say this, in my language we say that, and then they greet each other, they feel happy, and when they feel happy, that's what we want. We want them to be happy in school, we want them to be happy learning. So it's not going to interfere with good morning.
Right.
They will learn good morning, but they also have their roots in their mother tongue.
Correct.
Another myth again that teachers have, parents have, is that if we speak in the mother tongue at home, it will interfere with English language learning. So they try to talk in English at home, which is very weird actually. They should talk in their mother tongue because that is your first language. We don't want to kill the mother tongue. And so, although we are rooted, you know, it's like you're rooted in your mother tongue, but your branches are spread to learn new languages. In this case, English, it can be any other language as well.
Exactly.
So there are other things that can be done at home also to encourage language learning. This can be done in many ways. Even parents can help.
So that's what there is a question arises. I mean, simply if we can talk about the parents' role. So how can parents help the learning of their child? You just talk about the language, you just talk about the mother tongue,
Yes.
as we need to respect them. Now the question is that if we are not speaking English, suppose we are talking in our mother tongue, so how we can develop that sense how to speak English from the initial manner? Is it a
There
problem
are two
actually?
layers
Ah.
to this answer.
Hmm.
We are talking, when we say parent, we don't mean a single kind of parent. We mean parents who are highly educated, we mean parents who are maybe graduates. We also mean parents who are literate in their mother tongue or the regional language, but who may not be literate in English. We also may include parents who are illiterate. So actually when you say parent, how can a parent help? We are actually talking about so many different kinds of parents, and naturally the help that they will be able to provide will be different. So highly educated parents, they may talk in English, they may have books, newspapers at home, they may have all kinds of gadgets at home which the child is exposed to,
Right.
and they will be learning English, imbibing English. There may be parents who are graduates and who know English but may not be very comfortable in English. That doesn't matter. You talk in a language that you are comfortable with. So sometimes I may talk in English, and if the situation demands, like I may use a different language. It does not mean that I cannot say it in English. It only means that I want the other person to understand.
Right.
For example, here when we are talking of children, class 3 child, for instance, suppose there is water on the floor, and I say, look, there's water on the floor. I am not giving information. I am saying be careful at the
Right.
same time. So there's a lot in language that is unsaid. So what is said is informative, but the meaning is be careful, there's water on the floor, you may slip, things like that. So when a child says to a grandfather or a parent, there's water on the floor, then you have to think of what the meaning really is.
Right.
So the parents should tell stories to children, even in the mother tongue, doesn't matter if they don't know English. Tell stories, sing folk songs. These will help in the cognitive development of children.
Right.
In the national education policy, if I may go back to that, the structure has been changed, as all of you are aware, I'm sure, most of you are aware. 5 years, that is 3 years of Anganwadi or preschool, followed by grades 1 and 2. This is called foundational literacy and numeracy. From class 3 onwards, it's called the preparatory stage. We are preparing the child with some light texts, a little focus on reading and writing. Earlier it was more oral, so now there will be reading and writing, preparing them for middle school, which will start from class 6 onwards. So when we give them writing or reading tasks, it needs to help build in them a sense of achievement, and that is what the poem does. To come to the story, The Magic Garden. Let us talk a little about magic. Now, what is magic? It's not just a magician performing magic tricks. There is magic in everyday life, which only a child can see. To a child, a flying butterfly
Yes.
is magic, because the butterfly is
Flying.
that's
Yes,
all,
yes,
but
yes.
it's magic. To me, when I go to the library and the glass doors which are shut, they open like this, just because I'm near the door. How does the door know this is magic? Again, I remember a class 3 child asking me, the child had fallen down and there was pain in the right leg. So the doctor had given some medicine, and the mother was telling the child to have the medicine, and I just happened to be there. So the child was taking the medicine, and the child had a question. She asked the doctor, I have taken the medicine. How does the medicine know which leg to go to?
Yes.
Well, how will the medicine go only to the right leg?
Actually,
that
this is magic.
So this is
Right.
magic.
Right.
So to a child, everything has, there is a sense of wonder, of magic everywhere. And that is what we are going to talk about in the magic garden. It's just a garden, but it's a magic garden because flowers are growing,
Right,
because
right.
grass is growing, because the flowers are happy. The children know that flowers are happy. And we may say, oh yes, you water the flowers and they'll grow.
Right.
As adults, we lose our sense of magic, which we should not,
Right. So different differentiation of magic. I got it today. I think magic was something else, but this magic is outstanding different, and we need to owe this. Yes, move further now. We have actually 7 minutes left, so we can do plenty of things in those 7 minutes.
We can do plenty of things. I have some things rather I'd like to show.
Sure.
This one, for instance. Now, when we have the word creeping, for instance, C and R, that's the beginning, we can ask children that, give them this. This can be done at home also.
Yes, please.
And it can be written on a slip of paper. This one is part of the English language learning kit, which can be used for English language learning at the primary stage. This has been developed by NCERT and it's called Raindrops English Kit. So as you can see, it's child friendly. There are no sharp edges to cut the child's tender skin.
Safely.
Anyway, so this one, the beginning is SH here. Give it to a child and ask the child to write or say as many words as he or she can. The child may say shop, the child may say shall, or anything. Then stir, ST. So stand. A class 1 child or 2 also can say stand. This one may say see.
State.
So stool, state, many things, and the child's vocabulary will develop. The first day they may come up with only 3 or 4 words, but on the in subsequent days they may have more. So this one is a simpler one, and then we have frock, from, so many things. Spoke, speak. Through this they can even come to know present tense, past tense, and so on. This even can be done in any language. It's not that it has to be done only in English. It can be done in any language. All I'm saying is certain words, they have these as the beginning, and that can be encouraged.
Right.
Whereas when the beginning part is easier, I have here with me,
Okay.
this is the ending ones.
Okay. That's great.
So if you try to think of a word which ends in OR, for instance, or ER, for instance, it's a little more difficult than the the previous one, where the beginning is provided. It's easier to think of words. And here, suppose I say, you can also teach spelling here. Suppose I say tailor. Tailor is a very common word. Every child knows the word tailor. And I say, does it end in ER or OR? So then the child will begin to think.
Yes.
And then, so you are encouraging spelling in a way. In a very stress-free manner, you are teaching English. And then we come to IES, for instance, and then you ask whether, can you think of a plural story? The plural would be stories.
Correct.
And things like this, and ending in OL and CK. We had FR in the beginning, fr, and this is frock. This is the ending. It can also be sock. It can be many other things. So this is a fun way of developing vocabulary far beyond the poem or the lesson, far beyond the textbook, and relating it to everyday life.
Great, and I think this is the more I would say innovative method to how to learn vocab, and how you can make this strong, how you can get the mastery on it while practicing. I think that is very important thing. If we can practice for 10 to 15 minutes. A small question is there, how we can practice. Sometimes we develop the sense we need to practice for a long way, like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. That will be more boring, not exciting at all. So how we can start practice in a very simple manner in a very short time, how it could be, like 10 minutes, 12 minutes or 20 minutes?
Well, I wouldn't really put a time factor to it. It's the way I learnt Hindi, for instance. Hindi is not my mother tongue. And when I came to Delhi, I really had a hard time with it. But then eventually I do speak Hindi, maybe at least at a communicative level. I cannot speak Hindi at an academic level. Fine. But then that is the way it is. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you, if people laugh at you. Let them laugh and then say, okay, tell me the correct answer. So then you begin to learn, and people will help in in learning a new language. You can use the dictionary, you can use Google, you can use your the knowledge of your teachers and older siblings to, but mainly depend on yourself. Take every opportunity. It's not that 10 minutes today I will learn English and then stop for the rest of the day. No. Even if you get a toothpaste packet, read what is on the packet.
Right.
What is the meaning of customer services and things. Address is given, price is given, and the name of the product is given. Try to read all these things and it will develop.
Great. So we have only 1 minute left, then after we'll wind this session. Any message you would like to give to your student as they are at home and they are waiting actually to reopen their schools?
Yes, when you go back to school, you have to be, again, continue your being careful. This is for your own safety. So you have to continue wearing masks, using the sanitizer and washing your hands frequently. Just because you are going back to school, it doesn't mean that you have full freedom to hug your friends. You may want to after meeting them after such a long time, but please don't do that. And I think that live telecasts, recordings will also be telecast, which you can make full use of. And children, be safe, be happy and continue to learn. Thank you very much.
There you are. So you don't need to go anywhere, don't go out unnecessarily, and we are running short of time. So next session would be very impressive, that is for the math class 3 students. So don't go anywhere. After a short while earlier, the study will be continued. So stay tuned, PM eVidya channel. Thank you.
Thank you.